Most government jobs in Michigan will stop drug testing prospective employees for cannabis, a rule change that took effect on Sunday. The changes also provide people who've already been denied jobs or positive THC drug tests an opportunity to get the sanctions retroactively rescinded. The rule change was first proposed to the Michigan Civil Service Commission by John Nodke, personnel director, on May 12th. At July 12th meeting, the Michigan Civil Service Commission approved the proposed new change and adopted rule amendments to allow rescinding active sanctions for some applicants who tested positive for cannabis in drug tests since 2020. Amended rule reads, quote, a drug test is required. An appointing authority shall require testing for marijuana, cocaine, opiates, amphetamines, phencyclidine, except that marijuana testing is not authorized for a pre-employment drug test for a new hire to a position that is not test designated and cannot be used to rescind a conditional offer of employment to such a position. 4. If an agency requires testing for other drugs, it must first obtain written approval from the director. A request must include the agency's proposed initial test methods, testing levels, and performance test program. When conducting reasonable suspicion or post accident testing, the agency may require testing for any drug listed in Schedule 1 or 2. Commissioner Nick Ciamiatro, no, I said that wrong, Sierra Matero, said the change is needed to comply with Michigan's adult use cannabis statute, which was approved via statewide ballot measure in 2018. Voters also legalized medical cannabis 10 years earlier with the approval of the state's 2008 ballot proposal. The commissioner told MLive whether or not we agree with it or not is kind of beyond the point. Use of marijuana on the job is different than having used it months before you take the test. It doesn't make sense to limit our ability to hire qualified people because they took a gummy 2 weeks ago. Michigan residents made the decisions to treat recreational marijuana, much like alcohol, said Commission Chair Jace Bolger. Years ago, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel sent a legal opinion to Michigan's Unemployment Insurance Appeals Commission, which argued that employees fired from their jobs for cannabis use outside the workplace are technically still eligible for unemployment benefits per state law. It said marijuana was not used on the job or on the employer's premises, nor did it impair the employee during work hours. People spoke loud and clear when they voted in 2018 to legalize marijuana once and for all. Nobody over 21 can be penalized or denied any right or privilege solely for legally using marijuana. Employers cannot control their employees' private lives by calling the legal use of marijuana outside of work misconduct. His arguments appears to stand and go beyond unemployment benefits. Major reason to update drug testing policies its utter failure in deterring job candidates from refraining from smoking. Drug tests for THC hit an all-time high just months ago, according to one analysis. According to Quest Diagnosis Drug Testing Index analysis that was published on May 18th, post-accident workplace drug testing hit an all-time high in 2022. Last year, 7.3% workforce drug urine samples contained cannabis, comparison to only 6.7% in 2021. Diagnosis states that it has recorded a steady rise in post-accident cannabis positivity since 2012, with a 204.2% increase in workers testing positive for cannabis over the last 10 years. Between 2002 and 2009, post-accident positive test results had decreased. The report indicates that cannabis was the primary reason that workers' drug tests have been positive, but other substances such as amphetamines has also contributed to the increase, cannabis increasing by 10.3% and amphetamines increasing by 15.4%. 2022, the most common industries that saw a rise in positive workplace drug tests were accommodation and food services at 7%, retail trade at 7.7%, and finance and insurance 3.6%. In September 2022, New Jersey regulators issued employment guidance for cannabis rules in the workplace, which is meant to support employers' rights to create and maintain safe work environments to affirm employees' rights due process. Changes are taking place at the federal level as well. In February 2021, here you go. Biden administration announced a new policy that would allow applicants to be hired even if they had previously consumed cannabis. I quote the policy from the White House. White House's policy will maintain the absolute highest standards for service and government the president expects from his administration, while acknowledging the reality that state and local marijuana laws have changed significantly across the country in recent years. Well, I'm Todd Denkin with I-9 News. Should testing for pot just go away completely? I think it should.
I mean, then you'd be out of a job, Todd.
No.
Okay.
I'd be out of a job?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't test for pot. We test pot
Okay.
for safety and potency. We're not testing pee. We're testing pot.
He's not for the people. He is the people.
That's right.
I mean,
Now, I think, yes, of course, testing people for marijuana use should absolutely be out the door.
Crazy.
There's no way to test to determine if you are intoxicated at the time that you are at work, unfortunately, or like at the time that you are driving, to test for impairment, because cannabis stays in your system for 30 days. But I absolutely think that it should be treated like alcohol. If you're not doing it while you're at work, then it should be fine.
well, and not
You
to
know,
mention,
if you're at work, answer me this. If you're at work and say you have a back injury and you have to take some kind of Percocet or pain pill or
Right.
something, or
Right.
you have allergies and you have to take an allergy pill, or you have some other ailment where you take a regular dose of medication to get you through the day. Is that okay?
Right.
Or is it
Well-
just pot that's not okay?
Thank you, Todd.
No,
Thank
you're
you for making
absolutely
that
right, Bob.
connection.
That is a valid point. That is a valid point,
Well,
because
Would you have
there is
somebody-
nobody saying that you can't take a opioid while you're at work.
That's right.
you do
Or
realize
an
Would you
allergy
rather have
pill or
somebody
a-
operating heavy machinery, like strung out on the perks? Would you rather have them mellowed out on some THC pills?
You do realize
100%
that's
THC.
against the California Labor Code, right? Because you're allowed to be able to drink one beer on your lunch break, and so therefore the equivalent of that would in essence be one joint.
One joint.
Yes, and so therefore
One joint
you-
rule.
Therefore, legally,
we need to propose a bill.
Yeah, we need
Can
to- we need to-
you help us in doing that, Gretchen?
joint
Propose a
rule.
bill to
Yes.
one joint, one
Yep.
joint for every employee.
for every
If it's
4
a big,
hours of work.
what if a big
how do they-
cigar
Every
joint?
shift.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how
For
do they
each shift.
quantify that? How do they quantify that?
One joint for every
depends on
shift.
how big you roll, bro.
There's a diameter. There's a diameter that it can be.
My lunch break's this
Gotcha.
long, so I got to make sure it's sized just right.
You
Right?
see what I'm
You
saying?
need XL? You need some XLs with this?
Lordy.
That's it, Gretchen.
It's like
just
a
Lordy.
shot. It's like a shot and a
I'm
beer.
so grateful that
It's
I
like
get-
a shot and a beer. We'll
I'm
call
so
it.
grateful that I get to smoke on the job, because I'm on my job right now, and so I'm grateful that nobody's checking
Yeah.
whether or not.
Amazing.
Checking.
Look at that.
Checking. I'm gonna check and make sure you are smoking.
Oh, there you go.
Hell yeah. well, in the
Right.
spirit of keeping it on time and appeasing a mother time here with us today.
Mother
There's no
time.
appeasing. We're a 1-hour show. F you people. Let's
Mother
actually do
time.
an hour.
Mother
time. That's awesome.
Mother time doesn't have to be here. Fuck you people.